Okay, so my friend Dre just did a post. Thank you, Dre. And he talked about like girls being desperate, and sadly, it kind of hit home. And so I was thinking, like, one, why guys call it desperate when like girls just like, okay, if you talk to someone and you start and you already have like an agenda, like, I'm talking to you because I want a boyfriend. Like, girls are just like, we're on our agendas. So, regardless of if we've been messing with you and whatever for 6 months, and then we meet somebody else, and in 3 months he likes us enough to want to date us, our agenda is to have a boyfriend, not necessarily, love the person that we're talking to right now. Our number one agenda is to get a boyfriend or, build something with somebody. Like at 25, some guys are like, oh, I could rent a car, I can go to Vegas, I can do this stuff. But some women are like having damn near like midlife crisis where we think like we're behind. Right now on my newsfeed, I have weddings, babies, and engagements on my newsfeed. So for some odd reason at 24, I feel like I'm behind. So not saying that's like guys' fault and like you guys have to make up for that, but that's just where my head is mentally. So I'm like, damn, I don't even know, like I don't even have a boyfriend. I don't even have a guy that I talk to that I like enough that we're working towards something. And people are like pregnant, married, having babies, engaged, and I just feel super behind. Like I really, really do. So I feel like sometimes it's not as fair. Like if I'm talking to a guy and then like we're talking for X amount of months, we're having sex is a super super like soft spot in my opinion for women. Like every person that we sleep with or that we whatever, that's like giving ourselves away. Like for you guys, like half time you guys don't even get fully undressed. Y'all take them pants down and you have socks, a hoodie on, a hat on. Like for women, like we're letting you in, on our life. We're like letting you in and we're giving you a piece of ourselves. So I feel like it's a way bigger issue. And like if we're letting you in that deep, we're saying like we really mess with you, like I'm letting you in. So sometimes when guys are like, sex doesn't mean that we're solid or that I'm gonna date you, like it sometimes that's what it means for us. Like we're thinking like, okay, we shared this moment with you, now we're doing it consistently, you're not asking me to go home afterwards, we're sleeping next to her and cuddling, I'm feeling like we're working towards something. So then when I ask you about it, like what are we, and you're like, nothing, I'm still trying to see, I barely know you. Like how you gonna tell someone that you've been having consistent sex with for 3 months or 6 months that you really don't know anything about them? That should be a fault on your part kind of as well, Dre, and not just like the woman's part, because it goes for men too. Like with all the stuff going around, you shouldn't be having consistent sex with anybody that you don't know anything about or that you don't see some sort of potential in, because like that's why there's so many relationships where like man and woman are having babies and then they decide 5 minutes later or after the baby's born that they don't really like each other. Like you shouldn't be having sex with somebody that you could not potentially, like if an accident were to happen, you couldn't, live in a world with them and raise this baby together and like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like how do people, like even like my ex, like had a baby with somebody and he doesn't like her and he's like and they're barely like, like people are barely raising their kids together, but yet you liked her enough to have consistent sex for X amount of years, months. That doesn't make sense to me. So to my real issue about being desperate. So I was talking to this guy. Liked him. I liked him a lot. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I liked him more than he liked me, obviously. So I liked him a lot. And we were hanging out, and I agree that like I sometimes read into things, and I thought, one little gesture, I'll take it all the way and I'll think like wedding bells, and I'm real okay, I'm not trying to like make people not like me, but I see that happening. Anyways, so I liked him a lot. We hung out, we were doing like couple-esque stuff. Like I was sleeping over his house. We weren't like sexually involved or anything crazy like that, but like we were like hooking up, kissing, whatever. And sleeping over, met his friends, going out with him, hanging out with him. And so I was starting to, in my head, like, okay, I like him. Maybe, obviously he likes me. If he didn't, he wouldn't like invite me over. We wouldn't hang out as much. Like you can definitely not see me if you didn't want to. So I'm thinking like everything's going great. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm hella into it. And he's using words like babe, like that kind of stuff to me. It makes me feel like you like me. Like if you don't think I'm your babe, don't use that. Unless we're both joking around and saying, like, I definitely joke with some of my friends, like, babe, whatever. But, like, if you know we're having some kind of connection and then you're using babe in different terms of endearment, like, you can't blame me for seeing and reading into things. So we do that. We're hanging out. His cousin comes into town. He's like, China, like, come out with us. And I'm like, well, I'm by myself. I don't have any homegirls with me. He's like, it doesn't matter. I just want to see you. Come out. You can meet my cousin and we can hang out and go to the bar and hang out, whatever. So I was like, okay, cool, sure. So then I'm thinking, like, dang, he likes me enough. He wants me to meet his cousin. Like, he wants me to go out with him. Like, that's cool. Like, out with his friends. So I get dressed. I meet him down in downtown LA. We go out. We hang out. I meet his cousin. His cousin's super dope. His cousin, like, you're so cool. Of course, he's filled his cousin in on, like, him and I's relationships because his cousin's like, oh, so, you're his girl. Like, kind of like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So now I'm feeling hella entitled. So we're at the club, we're at the bar, and I'm sitting there, I'm talking to his cousin. We're, like, really, like, he's really cool. And then the guy, like, stopped. Like, this girl walks by, and this guy just starts talking to her. Like, and he's a really social person, so it wasn't out of the ordinary, but I felt a little disrespected. Like, he started talking to her and he was like, whatever. I see them switching numbers, but the kind of person I am, I'm super prideful, and so I wasn't gonna let it, like, bother me. I wasn't gonna show him that I was, like, super hurt. So, okay, whatever, it's not a big deal. So fast forward, he's like, okay, let's go to Hollywood. I'm like, okay, for sure, whatever, jump in my car, we'll go. So we go to Hollywood. We get to Hollywood. Some other girls are sitting on a table. We're walking through. He stops, talks to the girls. So then me and his cousin just keep walking. His cousin's feeling super awkward. He's like, damn, like, I'm feeling awkward. Like, you're with this, like, my cousin just left to go talk to a group of females. I'm with his girl. And so we're just sitting there. 20 minutes go by. I'm feeling stupid. And then he's like, let's just go over to Hollywood Hookah. They'll meet us. I was like, okay, cool. So we go to Hollywood Hookah. The guy comes over. He's like, yeah, babe, so I was just talking. And I'm hella salty, and it's really hard for me to hide my emotions, but I was hella mad, like, nigga, don't call me babe, like, but I couldn't, my pride, couldn't let him know that he had really got to me. So we go inside, and I was just like, you know what, F it, I'm about to be the sickest, like, wingman. I'm gonna flip it. Instead of being sad, instead of, like, being mad that this nigga is really playing me, I'm just gonna not care. I'm gonna turn my feelings off and I'm gonna be a wingman. And so, like, girls were coming out. I was like, you should talk to her. And he was looking at me hella confused. I'm like, why don't you talk to her? She's cute. I'm helping him. I'm talking to girls. I'm bringing girls over like, hey, this is my friends. These are my two homeboys, whatever. And then this guy tried to talk to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm China. He was ugly, but I'm hella, like, switching numbers, just trying to, get my mojo back and feel good about myself. So I'm talking to different guys. And he's like, wow, like, who was that guy you're talking to? I'm like, oh, just whatever. But, like, I felt like inside, though, I was dying. Like, and my whole thing was, like, then when I dropped him back at home, he was like, you gonna come in? You wanna spend the night? I was like, no, I'm going home. I'm tired. And he was so confused. But my whole thing is, like, how do guys think that it's okay to lead girls on or give us things that will potentially give us an idea that you like us more than you really do, and then, like, completely play us, and then, like, make us, like, basically, like, right now, that could have turned me off of how I felt about, like, people or guys, or I could, like, harbor those feelings and then treat every dude like he's not shit. And, like, but then you guys get mad at us. Then a guy will meet me and be like, why do you act the way you act? But it's, like, because you guys don't take responsibility and, like, act like men. Like, that's not manly to, like, smash a bunch of girls or not be clear. Like, if you start with me, like Dre had said in his thing that, like, that's how he does. Like, he thinks that there should be more than just 6 months because then people just break up. That's cool. So then if you come to me like, hey, I don't get in relationships unless I really know you, and I will tell you when I'm feeling you and when I want you to be my girlfriend. Right now, this is just us getting to know each other, and then, but that still doesn't mean at the end of this that I'm gonna pick you. Then I'll be like, for show. Then I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sow my oats in you. I'm not gonna stay here and be, like, super dedicated to you. I'm gonna maybe mingle at the same time and then find somebody that wants to be with me. Like, to be honest, I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot. Anyways, I think that I'm, like, really dope. Like, I feel like I'm a cool ass person. I feel like whoever gets me will be really lucky. So my thing is, like, when people don't like me, it confuses the shit out of me. Like, I'm like, what? I'm thinking there's something wrong with me. Then I'm like, it's not something wrong with me. Like, it really confuses me when people don't like me. So, cause I'm really cool. So, like, I think for guys, you just have to be upfront. Like, I'm the kind of person that I can take it. If you tell me you're not into that, you're not trying to do that, I'm gonna be like, for sure. Thanks for letting me know. I can keep these feelings in and we'll be straight. So my whole thing is like, I feel like guys should just be upfront. Girls too, like, let you know, like, I'm looking for a boyfriend. I'm looking for a hubby now. This is the path now. So I'm not gonna give you, and I get it. Like, some guys, I want to try the milk before I buy the cow, but it's like, all sex is sex, to be honest. Like, you're not missing out on anything. Like, and anyway, no girl's gonna give you her best tricks when you're just, the regular guy. She gonna do it big for her husband.